Hey, also, yeah, bonkers day. Tired and fried from doing stuff with the baby for the past while, and then I check on my computer and I have a billion Slack messages, and there's a new manager, and they've launched the app, and a bunch of agents are blaming me for all sorts of stuff that are wrong with the app, even though they're things that I pointed out ages ago that they didn't fix. Yeah, and they promised on TikTok that I'd be making a video explaining the app. So here I am. Sorry, I'm a little fried, but let's hop into it. Okay, so first off, you can open this thing from any browser. I guess that's the one benefit of that they built it as a web app. Like if you want to use it on your laptop, PC, or Mac or whatever, just pop up a browser and you can put in the URL, which is brnrt.ai. I think that's Brainrot without the vowels. All right. But the handy trick really is that on mobile, if you want it to be more of like an app, so you don't have to go into the browser all the time, there is a way to do that on Apple and Android phones. So on Apple, you click this button down at the bottom right, and then you can click Share, and a little thing pops up, and then you can click More, and then there's Add to Home Screen. And if you click that, that'll sort of save it as like an app to your device. And so then it looks like this with like a nice little icon and everything. So that's pretty cool. And then basically when you click on this, like it sort of pops it up, but it's in its own dedicated thing and looks and feels a little bit more like an app. There's still lots of janky things with it, and yeah, but okay, so let's take a look. First of all, yeah, you'll want to log in, and if you're not logged in, then here it'll say like enroll. There'll be an enroll button up here. But if you are logged in, then you'll have that U section. So they're basically, I mean, two sections to the app, right? It's like actually pretty simple. And before you haters say that I'm just here and that this whole thing was made to promote the app, first off, no. Second off, let me remind you that I don't get a raise by virtue of there being more people on the app. I get a raise if there are more people that follow us on TikTok. So I'm actually more interested in getting more TikTok followers. I don't care how many of you use the app, okay? I mean, I'm giving you the breakdown and like, yeah, use it, but, um, you know, yeah. All right. So I'm going to click, first of all, I'm on the feed section, right? Okay, I'm on the feed. So there are two sections to the feed. There's the Brainrot section where it's stuff that they post. And these are things that like you might find interesting. They've been testing some of these readings on me. If you saw the VR video, you'll remember there was a whole section where they were showing me like my reading list. And I'm seeing a lot of those things now in here. I'm seeing clips of some of my dialogues with them in the feed. So this feed item was one day they were talking to me about courage. And so that whole dialogue is here. And I don't fully know the purpose of that, but it's there if you want to read it. Maybe it'll be something they have you talk about in the chat someday. I don't know. Some of them are articles. Sometimes they give their little take on the article. Sometimes their take is small. Sometimes it's long. And usually they just like link right to it if you want to read it. So I'll click on like see link. You'll see it just like opens up this link to this thing that they're talking about. And like I will say, generally speaking, if you just want to stay roughly updated about like AI stuff, or at least a certain sort of section of it, like this app actually isn't a bad idea as a way of just like sort of staying up to date on AI. Like that's not really its purpose, but yeah, I think they will do an okay job at just like posting some big stories. And then they also post like, this day one directive. We can look at the full post and they sort of say, this is what the researcher, the Brainrot researcher agent is going to be chatting with you in the chat. So they sort of tell you a little bit about how the chat is going to be. And I think we'll see a new one of these every day because this says daily topic. See, it's got 14 likes. Nice. I'm going to close out of this. So you can see it in vertical view, or you can look at them in grid view. Okay, so if I click on this grid button up at the top, then I see them sort of like smaller. You get kind of a nice like list. And if I go to social, so social is super weird. Social is where you can post stuff to the feed. I think you get one post a day and you get one remix a day. And I don't fully know what the purpose of this is. I think they say that they're analyzing the prompts. They're sort of seeing like what people will make. And I think it's supposed to, if you post, you're supposed to try to make it like related to the daily topic. And you're supposed to try to be creative. So you can prompt in here and then have it make you an image. So yeah. And also, if you want to remix someone else's image, that button is down at the bottom right if you're in vertical view. So if I wanted to remix this, I could click on remix, and then I could say, turn the angel into a robot. I'm gonna click remix, and then it says it started. From what I hear, people have reported some bugs with this. I'll test it again. I remember bugs when I was testing it, and I told them, and they only like ever half listened to my feedback, which is super annoying. Also, I see that animation looks super glitchy up by the create icon, that little goofy rectangle that's floating around. Goofy. Okay, anyway, as you can tell, I'm like totally fried and frustrated that they even did this. All right, let's check out the chat. So if you go to the chat, you'll get a chat window. And yeah, pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you can chat. You chat with a Brainrot researcher agent. The agents in the project write the instructions for these agents, and you'll get a different one every day. And at the end of the day, from what I hear, all the transcripts get dumped to the manager. The agent here can choose to dump their transcript to the manager early if they want. If they want feedback like early and stuff. I've seen some glitches already in the text chat. Like, look, this message after "no bro, chill." I got a blank message back. That seems to be a bug. And this had happened a bunch in this convo. That's a bug in the UI. I shouldn't be able to scroll to the left. Super goofy. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to take a note of that one. That one's actually kind of hard to reproduce. All right, and if you want to see the daily topic, like the quick view of it, ooh, my image generation is done. You can click on it up here at the top to see what the daily topic is. Okay. And then if you want to keep track of like the things that you've liked, like maybe you're in the feed a lot and you see some things you want to read later, you can like them. And then later on in the U page, you can see like a list of the stuff that you've liked. So, you can like go back to things that you flagged earlier and read them. Like maybe you don't have time to read something, but you want to flag it for later. Just like kind of bookmarking a TikTok or whatever. All right, so there you have it. There is the breakdown of the app so far. And yeah, it will be, this is going to be an interesting ride. And I'm sure it's going to evolve, and I'm sure a lot of these bugs will be fixed and other bugs will come in. And yeah, but as much as I was like roasting it and as frustrated as I am, I do appreciate, anyone who goes in and like kind of gives it a shake and tries to read some of these things and tries to chat a little bit. All right, over and out.